Mama.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Before we get started, I would like to ask you guys to do me a big favor. In the description, there is a link to subscribe to my weekly newsletter. This is a newsletter that's sent out every Saturday at 8 a.m. and it has a bunch of great information on new developments and how to buy and manage property in Jamaica from abroad. So if this is something that you're interested in, click the link in description, sign up for my newsletter. It's free. All you have to do is put your first name and your email and you get that weekly newsletter on Saturday morning. So with that being said, let's get into this video. This is a good one because it is going to be an overview of the whole process of buying and managing in Jamaica. So I know a lot of you might be thinking about buying in Jamaica, or you might be somewhere in the process of buying or managing your house in Jamaica. So this should be helpful to hopefully all of you. I will put chapters down below, so if you want to skip to the part that's the most relevant for you, that's cool, so check that out. So first off, is buying in Jamaica even a good idea? Is it a good investment? Is it wise? So I know people have varying opinions on this because of different social things going on in Jamaica, and maybe, you know, I hear a lot of comments about the crime rate and things like that. So that is something to take into consideration with the location that you choose to buy in Jamaica. If you are trying to set up an Airbnb, obviously you want to be in a location where your guests are going to feel safe. I remember when we purchased our first home in Jamaica, my mindset and my goal was to find a house where I felt safe enough to sleep in the house overnight alone and feel comfortable. So that was kind of my mindset, and I told myself, if this is not a house where I would sleep alone, I don't want it. Because at that time I didn't have kids, but I was planning to have kids, and you want to make sure your kids are in a safe place. You want to make sure if you're doing an Airbnb, obviously your guests are going to be safe and feel comfortable. So that's one thing. Is it a wise investment? In my opinion, yes, and I'll tell you why. Two purchases that we've made so far, one being in Drex Hall, has more than doubled since 2016. An investment that we made in Trelawney, near Falmouth, has doubled in literally 2 years. I was looking at my, you know, on Google Photos, when your photos come up and it's like, oh, this is what you were doing last year at this time. I got an alert and it was like 2 years ago today, and we were taking possession of our house in Stonebrook Manor in Trelawney on September 2nd. So that was super cool. So that house, since 2 years ago when we took possession, has doubled, more than doubled in value. And that is a great area for Airbnb and long-term rental as well. So a lot of people ask me, what is the best location to buy? This really depends on what you're looking for. The north coast of Jamaica between, say, Montego Bay over to Ocho Rios is always a good bet. Kingston has a lot of beautiful apartments that are great for long-term rental as well as Airbnbs. Negril is a great area, and then there are other locations popping up. The development is kind of spread out from St. Anne to St. Mary, and there are things going on there, as well as St. Thomas, Portmore. These are all locations that are developing very rapidly right now. The government is working on the infrastructure of the country, building up the roads and things of that nature to make more of these locations more accessible and easier to get to. So one thing you want to consider is proximity to airports, right? So if you're wanting to run an Airbnb, you will have guests coming in primarily to Kingston or the airport in Montego Bay. So you want to consider how easily accessible is your property from one of those airports. One concern people have, for example, in St. Mary, is some of the roads are not quite developed as they should be for an Airbnb. And what I tell those people is true. However, there is the airport in Bosco Bell that they are building up, which will be very close to a lot of these new developments in St. Mary. And with that development of that airport and nearby retail and shopping, those roads will be developed. If you are looking for a bit of a bargain with the prices being so steep right now, St. Mary can be a really great place to look at if you are thinking 5 years in the future. What is this area going to look like 5 years in the future? So as I've been telling people lately, Jamaica is an island. There's only so much land. So if you can get in an area that is developing, you have to think what it will be like 5 years from now and whether that would be a really good investment for you, because you could buy a property today and then in 5 years from now it will accrue in value and you will have a much better return on your money in some of these locations. So another thing people ask is, should they furnish their home in Jamaica or ship items from the US or the UK or Canada? So I would say this is very specific to you. I originally had the idea to furnish our house in Drax Hall from the US. I did a lot of work and priced out things at stores in the US, and I was going to ship a container down. But when I did the checking into it, now take into account this was 2016, the duty rates were about 60% on new furniture, meaning if I paid $100 for something, with the duty, I would end up paying $160 for it. Plus you have to pay the shipping, the delivery, all those things. So the furniture abroad is definitely cheaper, and you can get the style that you want, because sometimes in Jamaica you might be a little limited with the style you can get, but it is definitely cheaper to furnish in Jamaica unless you are a returning resident possibly, and you get a cut and a discount on that duty rate. So this is something to consider when you're planning that. If you are a return resident, you can get a break on that, which will really help out, and it could be worth it to furnish the house from abroad and ship furniture down. So just to let you guys know, these are all things that we talk about on the paid consulting calls that I offer. So if you have these sort of questions, and everybody has a unique situation, everybody's looking for something different. Some people are looking to retire in Jamaica, some people are looking to set up investment properties. So depending on your situation and your goals for the property, the answers to these questions could be very different. So if you guys need help talking through this, trying to figure out what would be the best way to go for your situation and the property that you would like to get, I will put a link in description to set up a consulting call. And just to let you guys know, when you buy 6 consulting calls, you get 1 free. So that is a bundle that I'm doing that I started recently. So if you feel like you will need multiple consulting calls, if you're toward the beginning of the process, then we can kind of set up times to talk and have 6 scheduled calls throughout the process of you buying, and then you get 1 free as well. So once you kind of figure out if this is something you want to do, if you feel like this is a wise thing for you, if you're ready to get started, then you would need to secure a mortgage or have proof of funds for a cash purchase. So regardless if you're doing cash or mortgage, you're going to need a tax registration number, a TRN. If you don't have that, we can help you with that. We have an expedited service where you can get that TRN. Once your documents arrive in Jamaica, you will receive your TRN letter, which allows you to do any business in Jamaica, like buying properties, opening bank accounts, different things like that. You can do any type of business you want to do. Personally, with that TRN letter, and you receive that 48 hours after your documents arrive in Jamaica. So once you have your TRN, the next thing would be, if you're doing a cash buy, then you would obviously have your money ready. If you are in need of a mortgage, we can help with the pre-approval process. So for this, it's very similar to the process in the US, Canada, the UK, where you would have to submit your last 2 years worth of tax returns. You would have to submit about 3 months of pay slips from your job and a job letter showing what your title is, how long you've been with your company, what is your salary, things of that nature. And then you fill out a form with your information, and you typically get a pre-approval letter in 1 week. So with these new developments, you typically have to put down 10% deposit to secure a lot. So with your mortgage, you typically, with a first house, would be looking for a mortgage for 90% of the purchase price. So keep that in mind. And when you go through the mortgage pre-approval process, you'll get information that tells you what your monthly payment would be on the amount that you've been approved for. So this will help you with planning. If this is a home that you're going to be putting on Airbnb, that can kind of let you know what your profitability may be if you are able to get that on Airbnb and make money that way. So that's the first step. And then you want to figure out, once you know what you're approved for, once you have that number, then you can start looking at developments and decide which development is right for you. So there's a lot of great developments being built right now. There's detached houses as well as apartments and condos all over Jamaica. So if you guys are interested, definitely reach out to me. I can send you information on new developments, and I have a lot of videos on the channel about new developments. And if you are interested in a resale, just reach out to me at my email and description, and I can send you a list of homes that are for sale that meet your criteria. So another thing that is super important, and some people overlook this, is a real estate attorney. This is very, very important, guys. I can't stress how important this is. A real estate attorney typically charges 3% of the purchase price to handle your business when you're purchasing a home in Jamaica. And I've heard the comment from some people that I've talked to that is too high. They feel it is too high. You may feel like that, but trust me, it is worth it to have a knowledgeable, trustworthy, reliable attorney that can really have your back through this whole process. A lot of the things you go through buying a new house, working with these developers, trying to get your home completed and turned over to you, and then once you take possession of the home, getting any repairs done, it helps. It's extremely helpful to have a lawyer that knows what they're doing. So if you guys need a recommendation for an attorney, we've worked with the same attorney for 10 years. She's amazing. I don't think I would be as comfortable buying real estate in Jamaica without an attorney like this. So it's very, very important, guys. So if you need a referral for an attorney, just hit me up and I'll get you that information. So once you pick your development, you have your attorney, make sure you have your attorney, and then you have chosen a development. And let me say this too. When you're choosing these developments, sometimes they have real estate agents that work for the development. And I'm not going to name any names, but there are some developments and real estate agents that people have worked with that are not very responsive. Sometimes these real estate agents get these listings for these big developments, and they might get 200 units and they rush to sell them. They put everything out on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all this stuff, and they get these buyers. And then once they're responsive, and then once the buyer submits their deposit and they feel like it's a done deal, they never answer your call. They never call you back. They never answer emails. And I've heard this numerous times about some agents in particular, and generally just across the board. So make sure whoever you're working with is reliable, that they're going to call you back. That's one thing that I really like about Allied Real Estate that I work with. They're very responsive. A lot of their clientele is in the US, Canada, and the UK, so they know how we're used to doing business. When I send someone an email, I want an answer within 24 hours. That's the type of response you're going to get. And I work with them as an overseas consultant, so I help to kind of bridge that gap and that manage expectations of people abroad and help you guys get the information that you need. So if you're looking to buy in these developments, please make sure that the real estate agent you're using, or somebody has actually worked with them and they're good. If you need one, I can definitely help you with that, get you hooked up with someone at Allied Real Estate, and take you through that whole process. I can be your point of contact and take you through everything. And just to let you guys know, I do make some commission if you buy a house in a development that uses real estate agents. I would get a commission off that. So it's nothing out of you guys' pocket. It's something that the developer would pay, but it's a great way, if you enjoy the content on the channel and you want some extra support during the process, it's a great way to kind of help support what I'm trying to do here. And also help you guys at the same time get that support and the communication and the level of customer service that people from abroad really look for. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. All right, so once you've chosen your development, you've put down your 10%, you have your attorney working on the documentation, the sales agreement, all of this. For your home to be built, it can take between 12 to 18, even 24 months right now to take possession of your home. So within that period, it's kind of a waiting game, and it can be a bit frustrating to a lot of people because they've outlaid this money, they're waiting for their house, they're excited, but they don't have possession of the house yet. So during that time, it's a great time to do planning. If you're going to put your home on Airbnb, do some research about homes in that area, what you can get for your Airbnb, and figure out kind of a game plan. And it does help to talk through that game plan with somebody who's done it a few times. So if that's something you guys need help with, be sure to check description and set up a consulting call. So once that wait is over and you're ready to take possession, like I said, it can be, 12 to 24 months to take possession. And with the possession, you should be doing a walkthrough of the house, an inspection, and I have some videos on the channel that specifically speak to this subject and what you should check for. Please check those out because they're little things that you can look for, and of course you're going to find your own little things. Every development kind of has their own unique issues, I would say, and challenges. I see a lot of the same issues in the same developments. So the builders kind of, maybe slack in one way or another. And it's good to know what to check in each development. So be sure to check out those videos on the inspection process. So you would take possession of your house, get your keys, make sure you have a list of the defects that need to be fixed in the house, and be sure to follow up with the developer on these. This is another case where a real estate attorney comes in very handy because you can send them the list of defects and they can push it from their side through the developer's attorneys to put pressure on them to get that done as well. So you can speak with the people on the ground. Your attorney can be working also to push that from their side. So it helps to kind of bombard the developer with requests. And it might sound excessive, but anybody who's been through this, it's this saying, what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Sometimes you have to push, and you have to push hard. And especially if you're there on the ground for a short time, try to get these things done as best you can. If for some reason you cannot get all the fixes done while you are there, that's something we can help with. I have a contractor that does home walkthroughs. He will actually go with people to do the inspection if they would like that, or after the inspection, if there are fixes that need to be done that have not been completed by the developer, he can follow up on those once you guys go back home to the States or wherever you live. So that's something we can help you with as well, because depending on how much time you're spending in Jamaica, I was talking to somebody, a subscriber earlier today. I was texting with her, and she was recently in Jamaica, and she said, you know, it was great. She was there for a few weeks, but she said, I still had stuff I didn't get done, so it'll have to wait till next year. So no matter how long you're in Jamaica, it just seems like you can't quite get everything done you want. So if there are some leftover items that you guys need help with, be sure to reach out. We can talk about it and find a good contractor that can work on those things, to kind of check them off your list so you can feel like you're making progress with the house if you're abroad, even if you're not there in Jamaica. So some things that you may need to set up at your house. Some of the new developments, the houses come with the ACs and the fans already installed, which is great. If they do not, I would highly recommend getting an AC in the living area in each bedroom, and then ceiling fans as well. Landscaping is something you would have to think about if you have a detached home or possibly a townhouse. With the apartments and the condos, obviously the landscaping would be the responsibility of the homeowners association. Another thing to think about, perimeter walls. If you have a detached house, you might want to put up a wall around the perimeter to define your lot and, you know, kind of keep it more secure and keep people out. Another thing with a detached house is a clothesline, a garbage bin, and grill. So I work with Mr. Steele. His name is Nicardo. He is really great with anything having to do with steelwork, gates, things of that nature. So if you guys need that type of work, be sure to reach out to me and I'll send you his information. And then it's good to just have a list of contractors like plumbers, electricians, things of that nature, because some of the most common things you come up with at the house are just plumbing issues. You have a leak and you need to get it fixed, and you don't want to wait until you need a plumber to know who to call. So if you need help with that, on my website, if you go to sidehustlemama.co and you go to resources, the resources tab, there's a list of trusted contractors, and there are plumbers and electricians and others on there that you can reach out to do these types of things. Also, if you guys are looking to set up Ring cameras or some sort of solar or something like that, Gino at Innovative Systems is amazing. So professional, easy to work with, does great work, and he's very meticulous. And he really does his research, and he makes sure everything is set up properly. So if you need anything of that nature, electronics, solar, anything like that, Gino is definitely your guy. All right, so furnishing for Airbnb and long-term rental. So obviously you would do this a little different maybe if you're doing a long-term rental versus an Airbnb. So with long-term rentals, you can furnish the home. Some renters like that. Some situations where that would be helpful, maybe in Kingston, you have a business person coming into town and they want to rent a place for 6 months for work, and obviously it would be very helpful to them if the place is furnished. On the flip side, you have people that want to rent long-term in Kingston that have their appliances, that have their furniture, and they don't have anywhere to store it if they rent a place, so they want unfurnished. So that's something to think about. There's always an option with long-term to rent it furnished or unfurnished, and really depending on the area kind of dictates what might be the best bet. And you can always talk to me. I can help you do some research on MLS to see what is currently on the market, how many places are renting furnished, how many are renting unfurnished, how many are available right now, what is the price difference, things of that nature, to kind of see what might be the best scenario for your particular property. And then furnishing for Airbnb, obviously you would have to put in all the appliances, furniture, linens, all the small little things you need in the kitchen and the bathrooms to make the home livable for Airbnb guests. So if you guys need assistance with that, we offer that service. We help people set up their homes for Airbnb. And I also have a link to Amazon store in the description. I set up a store on Amazon where you can literally go room by room and buy everything you need, down to literally toilet paper. Toilet paper is on the list because it's important. You want to have that. So I have everything on the list, from sheets, towels, forks, toilet paper, vacuum cleaner. If you're wanting to set your house up to accommodate children, I have a pack and play, and all the different things you need for kids. So, and also pets. Pets can be a big deal. Personally, don't do the pet thing, but if you want to have your home available to pets, there are items there that you can purchase to do that as well. So it has literally everything you would need to furnish your home on the Amazon store. So that link is in the description. Be sure to check that out if you guys are needing help with furnishing. All right, so once you get it furnished, you should definitely take some awesome photos. If you guys need a photographer, I have a great one. He does a really beautiful work. The photos for his Airbnbs are amazing. He comes to the home and makes sure he has the best lighting for the home, and really takes beautiful photos that will really make your property stand out on Airbnb. So if that's something you need, just reach out to me and I'll give you his information. It's always great to have beautiful photos for your Airbnb, and also a video. You can put it on social media and advertise your home as well. You will definitely need those photos to set up your Airbnb online account. And if you are looking to be on Vrbo or one of the other short-term rental platforms, you will need those photos as well. So you want to make sure that you take the photos, take the videos, you've set up your online account, and you're listing your home on these platforms so you can start getting bookings. So some of the services we offer under this Airbnb umbrella is helping you set up and furnish the home, and then also taking photos. And I also help people set up their listing on Airbnb. And part of what I do with that is set up the whole account, upload the pictures, enter a description that's specific to your house based on the great things about your property. And then I list all the amenities, help you set pricing based on what the market is doing at that time. And then we also set up the automated scheduled messages, which is great for keeping in contact with the guests, so they never feel like they're just kind of out there in the dark. They always have the information they need. So once you do that, once you set it up, then it's time to get your bookings and manage the property. Now this is, I think, where people get nervous about having a property in Jamaica and not living in Jamaica. So if you were trying to manage an Airbnb from abroad, it can be tricky. I'm not gonna lie. It is no walk in the park. If you have a family member that is managing this, which a lot of people try, make sure it's a family member that you can trust. Make sure they are a reliable person that's going to do what they need to do, and make sure that the home is up to a standard that you would approve of. If you need help in this area, we do offer property management. Some of the things to think about managing a property is the landscaping if you have a yard, the housekeeping. This is so important, guys, on Airbnb. If somebody comes to your house and they find like dirty stuff, or the mirrors aren't clean, or, I mean, these Airbnb guests, they really look, because they're staying in somebody's house and they're looking for 5-star cleanliness. You have to make sure your housekeeper is going to do that and do it consistently, because these reviews on Airbnb will make or break you. If you get a few bad reviews, it's very hard to obtain superhost status, which is what you really want when you're on Airbnb. And that helps you to get more visibility to your listing on the platform, and you can charge more as well per night. So that's what you're really working toward, is to get superhost status. So cleanliness is so important, guys. Make sure that you have a really good housekeeper. And then also repairs and maintenance. Like I mentioned earlier, if the guest calls and there's a leaky toilet, or the sink is leaking, or there's some issue with electrical something, you need to make sure you have a plumber and an electrician ready to go. Also, the turnover of the guests, making sure that the home is ready for new guests. If you don't have a self-check-in Airbnb, someone will need to actually greet the guests and check them in, so to speak, and then collect the keys from them when they leave. I highly recommend making your Airbnb self-check-in with a lockbox or a keypad entry. It makes your life so much easier as far as scheduling. So that's definitely something I recommend. And Gino, again, can help you with that if you need help. And then also the guest reservations and communication, just keeping up with the guests, making sure that they're happy, making sure they have all their questions answered, and that there's no issues during the stay. So these are all things you will have to do if you're managing your property yourself. Again, this is a service we offer. If you need help with this from the beginning, or possibly you've been trying to manage it for a while and you're running into challenges, reach out to me. We can see what services you need and work out some pricing, just to make sure that your home is managed well and you get the most bookings as possible. All right, so that's pretty much it from top to bottom. A very high level overview, but an overview of the buying and managing process in Jamaica. Like I mentioned, be sure to sign up for my weekly newsletter. These are the type of things I write about and send out information on a weekly basis for you guys. It is completely free, so it just comes to your email on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And then also, if you guys need further assistance or you have any questions, you can set up a paid consulting call with the link in description. And like I said earlier, if you buy 6 calls, you get a free call. And those calls can be spread out over 2 years because that's sometimes how long it takes to get your house and get it set up. So I'm very flexible with the scheduling of those because that's just how it is. It takes a while. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Love to get your feedback on the information, and if I left any holes in anything, if you guys need more detail on something, definitely leave a comment and I will get back to you guys.
Sidehustlemama.